I'm going to start by talking about preschool and how gender norms are built into our social structures there. Almost all children in preschool are taught to behave a certain way. Boys are usually allowed to be more aggressive. And when it comes to girls, you'll normally see girls being a lot more calm and collected. These are definitely backed up by the teachers. That's a prime example of how social structures reproduce gender norms.
Moving on to Ferguson's article, Ferguson looks at the outlook that the teachers have on the African American population in their school, specifically the males. And it's already ingrained into the teachers' heads that most of the African American population in that school are already destined for jail. These kind of gendered ideas about African American males and being more aggressive and being more hostile kind of reciprocate throughout the public school. Moving on to the workplace, an institution where we see um, this idea that males are particularly better at one job compared to women, and that men are better suited for another job. In the article by Jacobs, there's this idea that men are better suited for particular jobs better than women, and a side-by-side comparison that men will do a better job. And these ideas are reinforced throughout society when we start looking at the STEM fields and how this idea that more men are better suited for STEM jobs, not so much reception work or assistant work. As we look into this social institution, we see that women can be passed over for job opportunities just for simply being a female, which then reinforces this idea that men do a better job in the workplace compared to women.
Another example of gender norms being reproduced in the workplace would be reproductive labor. Reproductive labor is defined as work such as cleaning, cooking, taking care of people. We learned about this more in Evelyn Glenn's article. These reproductive labor jobs are usually always held by women. Another example of this would be the nursing field. The nursing field is majority women. It's sort of an example of reproductive labor, seeing as you are doing the caretaking, and that's seen as a woman's job. But all these beliefs we have about men's jobs or women's jobs are all socially constructed. Um, there's no such thing as a man's job. There's no such thing as a woman's job. But
When we look at the article written by Ellen Lamont in regards to courtship and the societal norms in which we have put on the institution of courtship, society thinks that women must wait for the men to make the first move in regards to any kind of decision, paying for the first date, or asking for their hand in marriage. As they go along and get married, they succumb to these differences and don't address them. And until they address these differences, there will still be this inequality that exists not only in courtships, but in the schools, in the workplace, and pretty much every social institution.
one topic that I do want to talk about that goes against gender norms is stay-at-home fathers. After reading Noel Chelsea's article on stay-at-home fathers, I found out that stay-at-home fathers only make up 3.4% of the population when the mothers are making 100% of the income. These fathers, represented in the 3.4%, are actually helping undo gender norms that are found in our social structures, because it's very important that we don't see all men as breadwinners and all women as motherly figures, because there's going to be women that don't want to be mothers. There's going to be men that don't want to be breadwinners. If we stick to the social norms, we're not going to make any progress to diminish these social norms.
As heterosexual couples move through with their marriage, now in society we have this idea that mothers are supposed to breastfeed because it's a motherly thing to do. This is a societal norm that has been constructed within the institution of courtship and marriage itself. Women have these ideas that they are supposed to conform to these norms because it is the motherly thing to do, like breastfeed, rear the children, and the man is supposed to go to work and come home. This is based off the article Breastfeed at Your Own Risk by Julie Artis, and she goes into a lot more detail into how the societal norms play a huge effect in mothers breastfeeding their children because they think it is the motherly thing to do and that society pressures them to do it.